I always get so nervous with these things. Come on, just be cool, be cool, be calm. We are in Austin, baby. Texas, Texas, for those of you who don't speak Spanish. I am here for Codie Sanchez event. Whenever I go to events like this, is can I learn one thing? I think a lot of times it's easy for people to like go to an event and they're gonna walk away with 27 things or like 85 action items. What I've learned is that less is more. If I focus on just getting one thing, and that will be like the main domino or a lever that I could pull that will help me do something big, that's the thing I'm looking for. I'm not looking for 87 lead bullets, I'm looking for one silver bullet. I actually came to the event and I didn't know what exactly was in store. But here's one thing we got in advance. We saw a schedule that's like 8 to 12, workshop, 12 to 1, lunch, 1 to 5, workshop. So we didn't actually know what the curriculum was. And some people would hear that and it would give them like a nervous twitch in their eye because they need to know all the things. And I'm like, listen, I know Eamon and I know Codie and I know they're going not to just deliver, but over deliver. We spoke about the 9 P's of scaling and what you had to do to get where your business is now. So if you have a 7-figure business, how do you get to 8? And if you have an 8-figure business, how do you get to 9? And it's crazy because the foundations that they're teaching everybody in the room applied literally to everybody in the room. So we started off with an overview of what were the 9 P's, and we talked about what we were going to focus on day 1 and then day 2. But then a crazy thing happened. They had divided out the first P, which I think was persona, right? So we're talking about who your ideal client, like who is your avatar, who is the person you're targeting. And I think they anticipated us talking about that, I would guess, like maybe 45 minutes and then get into 15 minutes of Q&A. Oh, no. We ended up spending half of the first day on just that one section of P's. Listen, remember how I said I walked in just wanting to know like one thing? That was it. And my one thing happened to be a lot of other people's one thing. And here's the ironic part, is this is literally what I teach people. If you have ever bought a course from me, if you've ever been a part of a membership, if you've ever been part of our SaaS subscription, if you've ever have seen me speak on a stage, you will know all I do is preach about your ideal client profile. It is this cornerstone. It is the foundation of any business. And it felt good being in a room with people who are doing $20 and $40 million, and we're always going back to, yeah, it feels like there's been a departure, or yeah, we really need to hone in, or yeah, we should be revisiting who we're targeting again and again and again, because it is the nucleus of everything. It is the center point of everything. The farther you get away from talking to who you're targeting, the less effective your marketing becomes. And the less effective your marketing becomes, well, the less effective your leads are. The less effective your leads are, the less effective your sales are. The less effective your sales are, your margins start dropping and your revenue starts dropping. And you start thinking to yourself, hey, wait, what happened? Well, we forgot who the person we were supposed to speak to. The better we become at speaking to our ideal client, the more effective everything works thereafter. So we spent a lot of time focusing on that person. And one of like the things that I kept on writing again and again is when you know your exact ideal client, they are going to encounter what Codie calls a nail in the foot situation, which means that when you are talking to somebody and they're in such a place of desire, hurt, wanting a transformation, that they're gonna be more willing to buy from you because your messaging is so on point to them. So let's take, for an example, let's say I own an HVAC company, so I do heating and air conditioning. When do you think I am gonna have the greatest, I just stepped on a nail moment? During the summer, if my air conditioner stops working in Southern California, guess what? I just stepped on a nail. I need my air conditioner fixed now. That's when I want my marketing, my messaging, me being a hot lead, me going to sales, I want it all to be working. A lot of business owners think that a nail in the foot moment is X. But what she was really honing in and giving us a framework is, no, you really need to understand the why. Sometimes we think, oh, this is when my customer is gonna need me. And she's like, you can't assume that. You have to go who you're speaking to and when do they need what it is you need, so that the messaging, the marketing, and the sales are all in alignment to that. I wasn't the only person who found that so valuable because we spent half a day on that. I sat before this camera and I was like, God, I feel so nervous for these things. Why? Why do I feel so nervous? for doing these vlogs more than I feel nervous like stepping on a stage. Probably because when you step on a stage, you know what you're gonna say and you have experience and you put it in context and you make it easy for people, and when they feel inspired and it's easy and they take action, then you feel good and they feel good and everybody's like rah, 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 and then you're like, oh my God, it's so good being an entrepreneur. And then the things we don't talk about are the things that you're actually working through as an entrepreneur. Here we go. I have done a ton of research. I've done a ton of studying. I have invested in consultants. I've invested in coaches. I have gone to workshops, seminars, and conferences. It's like I can see the game and I can see my business outside of my business and I can see all the disparate points, and I am trying for the freaking life of me to connect it all. If I can connect the dots, it's gonna be huge. And if I can't connect the dots, we're gonna have a great business and it's gonna be good and it's gonna pay my mortgage and have my car and I'm gonna love what I do. That's the worst case scenario, okay? But I don't want the worst case scenario. I want to do something big. I just don't think I would be given this big of a dream if I didn't think I had the capacity to, if I didn't feel like I was called to it. So yeah, I eat my own dog food. When I tell other people, what's your big, stupid, crazy dream? Because I believe you're gonna do it. I believe in my big, stupid, crazy dream. And I actually don't even know how to describe all of it, but this is just me documenting it so that maybe in 2027 or 29 or 30, I can look back and be like, you didn't know what you were doing and you figured your way out. So this is what's going on at this particular time, which is why that Codie Sanchez event shook me on the inside, was because I think going against all good and safe advice, I have always preached to people, you speak to one person, one at a time. Diluted focus gets diluted results. If you're trying to talk to 4 people, you're gonna speak to nobody. I believe this and I know this. Here's what I'm deciding. Option 1, our target demographic is likely a male entrepreneur who's doing upwards of $40 million. There is going to be an offer there that speaks in terms of like consultancy. The only people who are paying me with that size business are the people who actually know me personally. These are people who've sat in rooms and they've sat across tables and they're like, who is that girl? What does she do? And they see me do what I do and the advice that I give or the ideas that I have, they're like, okay, whatever it is you got, you know what you're talking about. But the only way I've been able to land those clients is to be in the rooms with them. That's not possible. That's not a highly functioning business. That's not even a great way to get leads. Or it's a great way to get leads. It's not the best way to get leads. And so in order for me to attract that type of person, that demo, I'm going to have to be on different platforms creating very different type of content. Specifically, the content I was creating from 2016 to 2022, it was very much for the starting new entrepreneur and or the person who desired to have a business. This was specifically a woman who was making less than $100,000 and believed in the hope and the dream of starting a business, so that she decided, I actually really like Jasmine. I get a little bit of business, I get a little bit of fun. This is during the time where I'm doing a ton of bouncing, popping, transition, here we go, lots of tutorials, you got this, yes you do, ooh, ooh, razzle. And it did really well. That content did well. That content got attention, it got engagement, and we grew hundreds of thousands of followers. Except for the fact that that audience, while good, great, amazing, powerful, it wasn't actually the audience who could afford the thing that I was trying to do. However, in this future dream that I have, I am serving a very big partner, because yes, in my future dream, I am a partner to these companies. And there are a series of companies that I am partnered with and that my team is going in and we are implementing and we are doing and we are managing and we are 10xing whatever their efforts are. That's my dream. I want to be introduced as the person when I walk into a room, who is that? Jasmine Star, she'll 10x your business. In order for me to do that, I have to attract a certain clientele. Part of what I think will help me do that is having an audience of prospective buyers who trust what it is I do and say. The tricky part is building the audience that gets float. So here we are, we think about every big creator celebrity. Like if you think about the biggest person who's done extraordinarily well, Kylie Jenner. Kylie Jenner is speaking to the people who will buy her product. But how does Kylie Jenner speak to the people who will buy her product and then also, if she so wanted, powerfully position herself to have equity or partnership in somebody else's business, not based on her notoriety, but based on her skill? Who do I see this do beautifully? Gary Vaynerchuk. Hands down. Gary Vaynerchuk lands the biggest clients in the biggest ways and has so much street credibility that I'll never forget being in New York City in Times Square and we're taking a picture and these 2 15-year-old boys are giving me hearts and they're like, Gary, we love you. We watch your content with my mom. And I was like, this gangster. Got the mom, got the 15-year-old boy, 2 of the highest sector of buyers. So when he lands his Snapple and Peanuts and Reebok, and when he does his collaborations, what does he have? The float of the audience, the credibility to partner in whatever it is that does. So I know it exists, but when I go back and I look back at his career, and when I look at other people who have very similar capabilities, they came in with a very pointed focus, a very pointed person who they spoke to. There's a thing called Sheehan's Wall. And the idea is that this is a wall, and the minute anybody breaks through the wall, you become an industry leader, you get credibility, you become popular, you become famous, whatever the thing that you so desire. There is this wall, and it's known as Sheehan's Wall, because if you're able to break through, that's when you have expansion in scale. Now, what happens with a lot of people is that a lot of people will try to talk to a lot of people and do a lot of different things. So you never become known for one thing. But the minute you break through Sheehan's Wall with one thing, that and then empowers you to talk about a lot of other things. So Gary broke through Sheehan's Wall with wine. He became the go-to guy for wine. He marketed wine, he made money off wine, he did collaborations with wine. He broke through the wall, which then empowered him to talk about small businesses, marketing, digital marketing. When you look at the Sheehan's Wall, Brené Brown, how did she break through Sheehan's Wall? Well, she spoke about shame. And she spoke about, once you break through, vulnerability. So shame and vulnerability was how she broke through. And now what does she talk about? Courage, leadership, discipline, communication. In order for me to break through Sheehan's Wall, I need to figure out what the hell I am talking about and to whom. I know that I'm thinking about the right things. I actually don't know the next best steps. And so that's why we create the blog. It's like I can see it, and I kind of sort of feel like there are things that I know I need to do. I don't know the order in which to do them. I mean, you know, sometimes you ask the internet gods for goodness and then they deliver. This morning, here we are recording this vlog. I read this. It was from elevated.states on Instagram, and I screenshot it. Uncommon advice. If you don't know what to pursue in life right now, pursue yourself. Pursue becoming the healthiest, happiest, most healed, most present, most confident version of yourself. Then the right path will reveal itself. What is the next best thing for me to do right now? I know I have the pieces and I could see them. And instead of pursuing an answer, I'm pursuing myself. I'm gonna be the most healed version, the highest version of myself. I'm gonna love myself. I'm gonna give grace to myself. And I know it sounds like super woo, right? Like there's no woo in entrepreneurship. I think that the next level version of me is I have to break my frame of reality. It's easy for us to say that what got us here is going to be the thing that gets us to the next level. But if I am really trying to grow my business as big as I dream it to be, that my version of reality has to break. That what I think is possible based on my own knowledge or insights or just like break down walls, that whole thing I need to toss. I need to say it doesn't exist anymore. Because if I continue using that frame of how I see the world, I'm only going to perpetuate the same level of results. I need to throw everything away and I need to start from scratch. And if I am to build the thing that I feel so deeply called to build, as big as I think it's going to be, then I need to be the highest version of myself. I need to be the most healed version of myself. I need to be the most loving and kind and gracious. If I do this to myself, I can then help others do the same in their businesses and their lives. So what's next for me in my business is to pursue myself. I'm continuing to invest in going to events. I'm continuing to invest in meeting with other people. And I am continuing to take time just for me to do the deep work. I could see the pieces, and when the time is right, I'm going to connect them. And that's like just a deeply held belief that I have to hold on to, because that's the thing that keeps on pushing me forward every day. To be very clear, pursuing yourself doesn't mean taking it easy. Pursuing yourself is not saying, oh, it's gonna come to me. Pursuing yourself means that you're actually, wherever you're at right now, whatever you're trying to pursue. And yes, we talk about things in terms of business, but talk about things in terms of having the best relationship with your partner, the business partner, your life partner. Having this physical relationship with your body, choosing and making these right decisions. Like you have to do the work. Pursuing relationship with your children or people on your team. If you're watching this and you are doing the work, and yes, it is contingent on doing the work, whatever the work looks like for you. If it's watching free YouTube videos, if it's reading blog posts, if it's writing, if it's going to a coffee shop and then putting on headphones and just writing everything out, what is your dream? A couple days ago, I was having a conversation with my husband, and he asks the right questions always at the right time. And it wasn't in relation to business, but now every morning I wake up and I think about this question. I had expressed this thing that I wanted from him about a situation, and he said, but Jasmine, what do you want? And it stopped me in my tracks. And I looked across from him and I said, that's really funny. I was saying all the things I didn't have or the things that I had wanted from you in this situation with these people, but I actually didn't identify what I wanted. And ever since that conversation, I wake up in the morning and I'm like, okay, but what do you want from business? Specifically, what do you want from today? Because knowing what you want from today, it gives you a very clear path of how to do it. So if you're watching right now and you're not sure the next best step to take, and you're committed to doing the work, whatever the work looks like for you, journaling, learning, emailing, cold pitching people, getting into areas or cities or environments or masterminds or free meetups, online communities of entrepreneurs on Facebook, on Discord, and you're doing the work and the diligence, and you're keeping yourself a priority to pour yourself into it, then there's nothing more that you could ask. There's nothing more. And as fast as you want it to happen, because like I want the thing that I want to happen today. I want the thing that I want yesterday, and I'm nowhere near it today. So I'm speaking to myself more than I'm speaking to anybody else. If you're doing the work, it's contingent on doing the work, and you're prioritizing your care, then the things that were supposed to come to you will unfold at the right time. And that's just what I continue to say to myself.